Next phase. Give me a number from 1 to 1,000.
428.
Choose another one. Okay. Go. Name a number now.
77.
Okay. Take it. Ready to try? Go. Name the number.
13. Yeah.
Okay, we do it one last time.
Okay.
Wow. Name a 3-digit number.
175.
Okay, that's good. Come with me, please. This was there the whole time, Ben. It says 13 here. 77. And you had the 175. And you had 428.
428.
428. That's a big one. 428. Which is pretty strategic. On the way here, we passed a sign. It says 77 on the sign. Do you know that? Do you remember that?
Really?
You chose randomly. You
Right.
chose 13. Maybe it's coincidence that we've got a guy over there wearing 13 right in front of you the whole time. You also chose 428?
Yeah.
Look at the clock. It was there the whole time.
Oh my God.
Throughout the process. Good. You also chose 175. You said 175. It says here. 175. And one of the things I love about movies that they have a twist at the end.
Sure.
You need to have a twist. Can we twist the signs, please? Yes, Ben. Yeah, just.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Donald Trump buried his ex-wife at his golf course.
Hole number 1. Yep. Like right by hole number 1.
That's weird.
Now, why this is interesting is because apparently doing so has tax benefits.
Okay, so it's like some church shit.
His golf course
It's now
a cemetery. Defining the golf course as a cemetery could grant the business as a whole raft of tax breaks. Under New Jersey law, land being used for cemetery purposes is exempt from real estate and personal property taxes, as well as sales tax, inheritance tax, business tax, and income tax.
Wow.
Cemetery property is also exempt from sale for collection of judgments. What? With cemetery trust funds and trust income exempt from both tax and sale or seizure for collection of judgments against the company. What the fuck did I just read?
Fucking monster. And
That's pretty slick.
Because I also researched this. Because I'm like, all right, are you going to have to put more bodies there to make this a cemetery, or is one? Apparently in New Jersey, there is no specification how many bodies you needed to be classified as a cemetery.
The world up until this point was based on freedom. How they advertised you to be a good slave was they would give you some freedom. And when I say slave, I use that word particularly because a slave used to work his ass off and he would get food and a house in return. And 99% of people out here, my friend, are working their asses off. They can buy food and a house. That's it. Most people are still slaves. They would tell you you're going to be a slave, but you'll be free at least. You know, you can do what you want. You can think what you want. You can say what you want. You can walk around outside, look at the trees. You're a slave, but you're free. Freedom, freedom, freedom. And what happened when they did this, something changed. The internet came. People started to talk. People started to think. People started to realize how money's made. People started to realize it's all a scam. Cryptocurrency was invented. Now you have Bitcoin, which is surpassing the global reserve currency. We don't need banks anymore. We don't need the IMF anymore. People are starting to talk. People have elected Trump, a man who's not bought and controlled by the establishment. People are starting to actually get their minds right. So the people in charge are like, oh, fuck, we're losing control. We no longer control the money. We no longer control who's in charge of each country. Oh, fuck, we've got to put an end to this. We can no longer base our societies on freedom. We must base our societies on safety. You can't think for yourself. We can't put these videos on YouTube because it's fake news and it's dangerous. You can't go outside because the virus and it's dangerous. You can't travel in between countries without that injection because it's dangerous. This is no longer about freedom, my friends. This is about your safety. They're going to take all your freedom away and instead they're going to give you a nice big helping of safety. And you're going to take it and go, oh, at least I'm safe. You were safer before. You were safer before because now the government can arrest you for saying something they don't like. Because now you're spreading fake news. You were safer when you could have an opinion.
Many people are unaware that Rudolf Diesel, the inventor of the diesel engine, initially designed his diesel engine to run off of, guess what, hemp seed oil. I found the video on the internet where a guy had a lawnmower, which was a diesel lawnmower. He drained all the diesel fluid out, including the filter. And after he did that, he found a way to compress hemp seeds, and he turned the hemp seed into hemp seed oil. And then after that, he actually filled his tank, his lawnmower tank, with hemp seed oil, as you see in this video. And then guess what? Voila. His lawnmower actually ran off of hemp seed oil. No lie. You can do this yourself. But not only that, Henry Ford himself, he actually designed his own hemp car. Look at this video.
Amongst the thousands of products made from hemp, one of the most extraordinary is Henry Ford's plastic car. Built in 1941, it contained cellulose fibers derived from hemp, sisal, and wheat straw. The plastic was lighter than steel, yet could withstand...
Why should the wedding ring be worn on the fourth finger? There is a beautiful and convincing explanation given by the Chinese. The thumb represents your parents. The second finger or the index finger represents your siblings. The middle finger represents yourself. The fourth finger or the ring finger represents your life partner. And the little finger represents your children. Firstly, open your palms, face to face. Bend the middle fingers and hold them together, back to back. Secondly, open and hold the remaining three fingers and the thumb, tip to tip. Now, try to separate your thumbs, which representing the parents. They will open, because your parents are not destined to live with you for the rest of your lives. They will leave you sooner or later. Join your thumbs as before and separate your index fingers, which representing siblings. They will also open, because your brothers and sisters will have their own families and will have to lead their own separate lives. Now join the index fingers and separate your little fingers, which representing your children. They will open too, because the children will grow up, get married and settle down on their own someday. Finally, join your little fingers, and try to separate your ring fingers, which representing your spouse. You will be surprised to see that you just cannot separate them, because husband and wife are meant to be together all their lives, through thick and thin.
I was wondering about our yesterdays and digging through the rubble. And to say the least, somebody went to a hell of a lot of trouble to make sure that when we looked things up, we wouldn't fare too well. And we would come up with totally unreliable pictures of ourselves. But I've compiled what few facts I could, such as they are, to see if we could find out a little bit of something. And this is what I got so far. First, white folks discovered Africa. They claimed it fair and square. Cecil Rhodes couldn't have been robbing nobody because, hell, there wasn't nobody there. And white folks brought all the civilization because there wasn't none around. How could the folks be civilized when wasn't nobody writing nothing down? And just to prove all of their suspicions, well, didn't take too long. They found out that there were whole tribes of people in plain sight running around with no clothes on. That's right. The men, the women, the young, and the old righteous folks covered their eyes. And no time was spent considering the environment. Hell no, this just wasn't civilized. And another piece of information they had, or at least this is what we were taught, is that unlike the civilized people of Europe, these tribal units actually fought. And yes, there was some crude implements, and yes, there was primitive art, and yes, they were masters of hunting and fishing, and courtesy came from the heart. And yes, there was love and medicine, religion, intertribal communication by drum, but no paper, no pencils, and no other utensils, and hell, these folks never even heard of a gun. And this is why the colonies came, to stabilize the land, because the dark continent had copper and gold, and the discoverers had themselves a plan. They would discover all the places with promise. You didn't need no titles and deeds. Then they would appoint people to make everything legal, to sanction the trickery and greed. And back in the jungle, when the natives got restless, they would call it guerrilla attack. And they would never describe that the folks finally got wise and decided that they would fight back. And still, we are victims of word games. Semantics is always a bitch. Places once referred to as underdeveloped are now called mineral rich. And the game goes on eternally. Unity kept just beyond reach. Egypt and Libya used to be in Africa. They've now been moved to the Middle East. There are examples galore, I assure you. But if interpreting were left up to me, I'd be sure every time folks knew this version wasn't mine, which is why it is called his story.